Heartwarming twist. Woman caught stealing from charity reveals incredible transformation. Sarah Collins woke before dawn, the world outside still draped in darkness. The chirp of crickets faded as sunlight peeked over the horizon, illuminating her tiny kitchen. The worn wooden table was scattered with bills, a reminder of her struggles since losing her job at the textile factory. She felt like a shadow of her former self, exhausted and fearful as the pantry grew emptier. Today, she had to muster the energy to feed Lucas and Mia, her 10-year-old son and 7-year-old daughter. They depended on her strength, but she felt it slipping away. "Mom." Lucas's voice bounced through the hall, breaking her thoughts. Those two little faces, beaming and hungry, were all that kept her going, but desperation gripped her heart tighter every day. Bills piled up, and with no job on the horizon, Sarah wondered how long she could hold on. The fear of failure to provide for her kids became a constant storm in her heart. Then came the fateful afternoon. Caught in a whirlwind of despair, she found herself at the Maplewood Charity, a place where she once volunteered, but that felt more like a prison now. Glancing around and finding no one watching, she reached for a few boxes of food meant for struggling families. Hunched under the shame of what she was doing, she never heard them approach. "Sarah?" A voice shattered the silence. She turned, eyes wide with panic. It was Mrs. Jenkins, her neighbor, looking at her with disbelief. The shame washed over her like a cold wave, freezing her in place. Whispers and gasps echoed around her as the community that once embraced her turned their backs. She didn't just feel the weight of her actions. She felt the roots of her identity in Maplewood slipping away. What would Lucas and Mia think? What would her mother say?
"Why?"
Mrs. Jenkins whispered, shaking her head. From that moment, Sarah faced judgment from every corner of Maplewood, the town she'd grown up in. Adding to the pain was her mother, Linda, who couldn't comprehend what led her daughter to such despair. Instead of offering warmth, Linda reaffirmed her disappointment, leaving Sarah alone, carrying not just the burden of her mistakes but a fractured relationship with her own family. But amid chaos, a glimmer of hope emerged. Mr. Thompson, the stoic Vietnam veteran running the charity, approached her that day, piercing through the clamor. Instead of derision, his eyes reflected understanding. "Desperation," he said quietly. "We've all felt it." Through a hesitant conversation, he unveiled a connection, a lifeline tethering her back to her own strength. Sarah found herself compelled by his kindness, propelled to confront the storm within her. That spark led to her decision to give back, to organize community events supporting families in need. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. Every event brightened the hearts of Maplewood as families and, in the process, began to fill her own heart with purpose. Just when she thought she was turning a corner, one neighbor approached her with mockery in his eyes, disbelief dripping from his voice. "Can you really think you can redeem yourself after all this?" The words struck hard, bruising her newfound hope. As she walked away, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that the road to redemption might have more twists and turns than she expected. Could she truly rebuild her family's life and her standing in Maplewood? Or would she remain the woman they once whispered about, forever stuck in her past? As the weeks rolled by, Maplewood seemed to shift around Sarah Collins, much like the seasons outside her window. There were mornings when the sun spilled its warmth across the farmland, while other days brought storms that reflected her inner turmoil. Each community event she organized was infused with her hope, an antidote to the shame that still lingered around her like a dark cloud. Lucas and Mia began to notice the change, their laughter more vocal, their smiles brighter. "You're a hero, Mom," Lucas announced one evening at dinner, the pure innocence in his eyes cutting through her lingering self-doubt. His words wrapped around her heart, offering a fragile but sturdy anchor amidst the chaos of her emotions, but the mockery still echoed in her mind. Sarah often crossed paths with that neighbor, Peter, whose sneer seemed to carve deeper into her confidence. Each time they locked eyes, she fought back the urge to hide. Could she truly prove everyone wrong, including herself? Amid her struggles, she found unexpected support from Mr. Thompson. He took her aside one afternoon after a successful food drive, his hands calloused but comforting on her shoulder. "You're changing lives, Sarah."
"People see that. Just give it time," he said.
His faith in her began to chip away at her doubt. Yet, despite progress, the shadow of her past loomed. One chilly afternoon, she volunteered to help deliver packages to families in need. As she approached the first house, an all-too-familiar figure emerged from the shadows of her mind. Mrs. Jenkins stood at her doorstep, her expression a blend of pity and hesitation. "Sarah, I wanted to apologize." Mrs. Jenkins started, her voice tight with emotion. "What for?" Sarah asked, her heart racing. "For judging you too quickly," she said, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "I didn't know how hard things were. I should have reached out instead of turning away." In that moment, Sarah felt a crack in the armor around her heart. Forgiveness, both given and received, became a small light breaking through the darkness. "Thank you," she replied, a knot of emotion tightening in her throat. Maybe, just maybe, redemption was possible not just for her, but for those around her too. That evening, as Sarah unwound at home, a flurry of thoughts rushed through her mind, accompanied by soft murmurs of encouragement from Mia and Lucas playing nearby. Could she confront Peter the next time they met? Perhaps she could show him that the woman he mocked was learning to rise again. But just when she began to feel a sense of hope, the phone rang. The unfamiliar number made her heart race. With each ring, a wave of anxiety rushed over her. Was it news about her application to the local grocery store she'd been waiting for? When she picked up, she was met with a voice that knocked the breath right out of her. "Ms. Collins? We've reviewed your application, and we need to discuss your qualifications." The weight of the moment settled in her chest. This conversation could change everything from that point on. As fear and excitement surged within her, she wondered, was this the beginning of her new story, or could it lead her to more hurdles? And as she hung up, one thought echoed louder than the rest. Was she truly ready to stand up to whatever came next, and would the road ahead be as tangled as the one she had just traveled? The next morning, Sarah woke before dawn, her mind racing. She sat up in bed, trying to shake off the weight of uncertainty that clung to her like a comfortable blanket. The day ahead promised an answer, one she had been craving yet dreading. The grocery store had called her to discuss her application, a chance she could hardly believe was real. As the sun timidly crept over the horizon, its rays splashed against the walls of her modest home. The sight filled her with a strange mixture of comfort and anxiety. Would she walk into that meeting as the hopeful woman she had worked hard to become, or would the old shadows of self-doubt and embarrassment close in on her? After getting Lucas and Mia ready for school, she busied herself with breakfast, her hands shaking ever so slightly as she flipped pancakes. Each sizzle on the griddle seemed to echo the beating of her heart, reminding her of the stakes involved. "Mom, you okay?" Mia asked, her brows knit in concern, as she poured herself a glass of juice. "Just a little nervous about today," Sarah admitted, forcing a smile. "Nervous? You're going to rock it. You've got this." Lucas chimed in, confidence spilling from him in a way only children can manage. Taking a deep breath, Sarah thanked them for their faith in her, pushing down the doubt that threatened to surface again. Once the kids were at school, she made herself a cup of tea and sat at the kitchen table, staring at her reflection in the window. The world outside was awakening, filled with the sounds of nature. And then she saw him. Peter, out for his morning jog, passed by her front yard. Their eyes met for what felt like the longest moment, and she was surprised to find the biting disdain she expected was missing. Instead, there was a flicker of something else. Curiosity? Was that pity she saw? With a growing strength, Sarah acknowledged him with a nod. To her surprise, he nodded back, a subtle shift in their typical dynamic. It was a sign, she thought. Perhaps she was ready to face whatever came next, at the grocery store. As she walked through the automatic doors, her palms were clammy, and her heart thundered loud in her ears. She took a moment to collect herself, taking a few deep breaths to steady her nerves before she approached the reception desk. After a brief wait, a woman with a warm smile called her name. "Miss Collins, welcome. We're so glad you could make it," the manager said, extending a hand. Sarah shook it, feeling a spark of connection. The meeting began casually, the manager asking about her experience and intentions. But as they delved deeper, Sarah spoke about her community work, the events she organized, and her desire to create a difference, even in little ways. To her sheer shock, the manager listened intently, nodding along as if Sarah's words resonated deeply. At one point, Sarah shared about her struggles, the journey of reinvention. She could see the apprehension in the woman's eyes slowly shift to admiration. "Your resilience is incredible, Sarah," the manager said. "We need people like you on our team, people who understand the real world and bring heart to their work." Just as hope ignited in her chest, a commotion sounded from the front of the store. It was Mia's school principal, standing with Lucas, his face etched with concern. "Ms. Collins, we need to talk." There's been an incident. In that moment, the world seemed to tilt. Sarah's heart sank as fear gripped her. What could possibly have happened? Would she have the strength to handle whatever news awaited her? With her breath held tight in her throat, she could only wonder what this new twist would mean for her and her children. Did she truly have the power to face the challenges ahead, or was the universe throwing yet another hurdle at her? The principal's voice echoed in the bright hallway, leaving Sarah frozen in disbelief. A rush of questions flooded her mind. What incident could have involved her kids? Is it Mia? Is she okay? Sarah's voice shook as she stepped closer, scanning both the principal and her son for clues. Lucas looked anxious but unharmed, and that eased Sarah's frantic heartbeat. If only a little. The principal took a deep breath, clearly choosing his words with care. "There was an altercation in the schoolyard this morning. Something escalated among a few kids, and Mia was at the center of it."
"Mia?"
Panic snaked through Sarah. "What does that mean?" The principal gestured gently for Sarah to sit down on a nearby bench. She complied, although she felt like she was being pulled into the depths of the ocean, helpless and gasping. Lucas slid beside her, squeezing her hand tightly. Mia was caught up in a confrontation with a few classmates. It seems to have stemmed from some teasing related to her family situation. "The other kids got rough, Sarah," he explained, concern etched into his face. "I assure you, she isn't hurt physically, but she's very upset." Sarah felt her chest tighten. Teasing? Already? Her heart ached, imagining Mia's confusion mingled with shame and hurt. This moment was a stark reminder of the reality they faced, a world that often judged without knowing. "I'll need to speak with her," Sarah said, her voice steadier than she felt. "Can we bring her here?" "Of course. Let us get her," the principal responded, his tone supportive. As she waited for Mia to arrive, time felt distorted. Each passing second was heavy, filled with worries. Sarah's hands trembled slightly, the splash of hope from her meeting now dulled by an unforeseen storm. Would she have the right words to comfort her daughter? Would her own fears overshadow Mia's need for support? When Mia finally walked in, her tear-streaked face shattered Sarah's heart. For a moment, they locked eyes, and Sarah wanted nothing more than to wrap her girl in a cocoon of safety and love. "Mama!" Mia cried, rushing into Sarah's arms. Relief washed over Sarah, mingling with a fierce protectiveness. This was her child, hurting and vulnerable, and all Sarah wanted to do was shield her from the cruel world. "It's going to be okay, sweet girl. I promise," Sarah whispered, brushing hair from Mia's face. "Can you tell me what happened?" Mia hesitated, wiping her nose on her sleeve. "They said I was weird, that we're poor. I didn't know how to make them stop." Her little voice cracked, the weight of her emotions spilling over. Hearing those words felt like a punch to Sarah's gut. She knew how hard they had fought for every little thing, how desperately they were trying to create a future filled with promise. Just then, the principal interjected gently, Mia, I want you to know that feeling different is just part of being human. But it's also important to talk about it. With your mom, with a teacher, whoever you trust. We're here for you. Thank you, Sarah said, her voice steady but emotion-laden. We'll get through this together. We're a team, right? Mia nodded, sniffling as she clung to her. As they sat there, Sarah felt a surge of resolve. She'd already been fighting for her dreams, yet this was now more than just about her. It was about Mia and Lucas too, about showing them how to rise above adversity and hold on to their worth. But deep down, a lingering worry pulsed within her. What if the struggles didn't stop? What if this was only the beginning? With a mixture of worry and determination, she took Mia's hand and led her out of the office. It was time to confront their reality. More challenges awaited, but Sarah's own journey of transformation had already begun. Would she find the strength to fight for her family's dignity and a brighter future? As they stepped out into the world, uncertainty loomed, and all that surrounded them faded into the background as her heart pounded fiercely in her chest. The struggle was only beginning, but together they would navigate this new storm. What would happen when they confronted the children at school? Would fear give way to strength or lead them down a darker path? The sun hung low in the sky, casting golden beams across the schoolyard as Sarah and Mia walked hand in hand. Other parents and children buzzed around them, but they felt isolated, two ships navigating through a storm. Sarah could see the playground filled with laughter and games, yet it felt like a distinct world apart, one that Mia struggled to fit into. Mama, do you think they'll hurt me again? Mia's voice was barely a whisper, laced with fear. Sarah knelt down to meet her daughter's troubled eyes. No one is going to hurt you, Mia. We'll talk to your teachers and they will help. You're not alone, my love. She wanted to believe every word, to project the confidence she didn't fully feel. Just then, they approached the school office. Sarah took a deep breath, steeling herself for the conversations ahead. The principal stood waiting, his demeanor calm yet firm. Behind him, they could hear faint voices, the children who had teased Mia. The thought twisted Sarah's stomach. How could kids be so cruel? Mia, the principal began, gently guiding them inside. Can you tell me who was involved today? It's important we address this together. Mia's gaze fell to the floor as she hesitated. There were three of them. Rachel, Tommy, and Emily, she finally admitted, her voice trembling. Okay, Sarah replied, her heart racing. Does it help to talk about it? Not really, Mia replied, biting her lip. A wave of frustration washed over Sarah. How could something so innocent become so painful? With a heavy heart, she thought of her own childhood, the ugly side of peer pressure that never quite left her. And Mia was just starting. What if we turn this around? What if you show them how strong you really are? Maybe even talk to them? But what if I can't do it? Mia protested, shifting uncomfortably under her mother's gaze. Mia, no one is perfect. The truth is, it's okay to stumble. What matters is how we move forward, Sarah said, desperation creeping into her voice. It's about being brave. But Mia sniffled, the weight of Sarah's expectations clear on her small shoulders. Let us do this together, Sarah said, adrenaline pumping through her body. You can tell them it's not okay to hurt you. You have every right to stand up for yourself. Mia looked at her mother with wide eyes, a small glimmer of hope breaking through her fear. Could I really? Mia's voice wavered between doubt and the spark of possibility. Sarah's heart swelled. You already are, honey. You've faced something tough today. That's strength. Trust yourself. Moments later, they emerged from the office and walked toward the playground where a group of kids still played. Mia's grip tightened around her mother's hand, the trepidation radiating off her small frame. Take a deep breath, Sarah whispered, feeling her own heart race alongside her daughter's. You are stronger than you know. As they approached the cluster of children, Sarah could feel the buzz of chatter and laughter ease into an awkward silence. All eyes turned to them. Hey, Mia called out, her voice wavering as she fought to hold her ground. Can we talk? Sarah held her breath, both eager to support and terrified of the outcome. Would they listen? Would they understand? The moment hung in the air, heavy with uncertainty. Mia's courage would either forge a new path or expose her to more hurt. Just then, Emily stepped forward, eyes wide with surprise. Okay, she responded, crossing her arms. Would this be a chance for healing, or would it break Mia's spirit even further? Sarah felt a mixture of apprehension and pride. She held her breath, hoping that this moment was the turning point they desperately needed, a breakthrough for not just Mia, but for all those hurt by cruelty. Could they face the impending waves of emotional turmoil together, or was this just the start of a hurtful journey? Sarah's heart pounded in her chest as she focused on her daughter, ready to see how it would unfold. Would Mia find the courage she needed? Mia stood before the group of children, her small frame quaking with nervous energy. The playground loomed before her, the swings swayed gently in the breeze, the sun glinted off the slide, and laughter echoed in the air like distant music. But now it was all muted. Everything felt heavy as those familiar faces turned expectantly toward her. She started, her voice cracking. I want to talk about what happened. Yeah, what do you want? Rachel chimed in, her voice flippant as she flicked her hair over her shoulder. Mia swallowed hard, feeling her mother's reassuring presence behind her, like a protective wall. It's not okay how you treated me. It made me feel really sad. A collective pause filled the air. Sarah sensed the weight of the moment. She wanted to step in, to shield Mia from the sting of rejection that often followed such bravery. But she stayed still, allowing her daughter to find her voice. Oh, come on, it was just a joke, Tommy replied, rolling his eyes. You're being too sensitive. But Mia pushed on, compelled by the strength Sarah had instilled in her moments before. It's not just a joke when it hurts someone. I'm not trying to be overdramatic, I just wanted you to know it really hurt my feelings. There was a ripple of surprise among the children. For a moment, Sarah dared to hope. Maybe they could understand. Maybe they would change. Emily shifted her weight, looking guilty. I didn't mean to hurt you. I thought we were just playing around. It doesn't matter if you didn't mean it, Mia continued, her courage swelling like a balloon ready to pop. You need to think about how your words can make someone feel. I can't keep pretending like it's okay. Rachel shrugged but glanced sideways at Emily, an uncertain look creeping onto her face. I guess we didn't think it was that serious. Mia's heart raced as she caught the slight change in their energy. Perhaps there was a flicker of realization? Yeah, Tommy chimed in, a bit more somber now. I didn't want to be mean to you, Mia. I didn't think. A wave of relief washed over Sarah, mixed with a fierce pride in her daughter's brave stance. She bent slightly, catching Mia's eye. You're doing so well, sweetheart, she whispered, and Mia smiled back, that spark of hope shining brighter. Can we start over? Mia asked, her voice soft, yet firm. I want to play with you guys too. We all want to have fun, right? The children exchanged glances, and then slowly, a few heads nodded. Rachel uncrossed her arms. Okay, maybe we can try again. I didn't mean to make you feel like you were alone. I'm sorry too, Emily added, her sincerity evident in her tone. Can we all be friends? Mia's heart surged. Friends? Could it be that simple? Yes, Mia exclaimed, and a tentative smile broke across her face, one that echoed the relief bursting inside her. Just then, Sarah felt a sudden, overwhelming urge to believe. The little moments of genuine care, the potential for kindness, could they create a ripple effect? She knew there would always be challenges, but this felt like the first step, the exact moment she had hoped for. As the children ran off to the swings, laughter returned to the playground like a long-lost friend. Sarah found herself in awe of Mia's bravery. They walked side by side, a warmth blooming inside of her. Mama, Mia said shyly as they began to sit on a nearby bench. Do you think it will really be okay now? I believe so, love. This is just the beginning. But as she searched the playground, scanning the faces of the other parents and children, a shadow caught her eye. Rachel lingered, whispering something urgently to Tommy and Emily. Sarah's feeling of hope shifted to one of unease. What were they saying? Would the moment they shared turn against Mia? The uncertainty brewed inside Sarah. They had just reached a significant breakthrough, but was it enough to fend off future challenges? As the laughter floated like a fragile bubble above them, Sarah's heart clenched. Would they truly embrace change, or was there more trouble waiting in the wings? She couldn't shake the feeling that their journey was far from over. And as if on cue, a flash of movement caught her eye again. Would Mia's strength hold in the face of what was to come? Mia and Sarah settled onto the bench, the scent of fresh-cut grass mingling with the sweet smell of cotton candy from a nearby food truck. Laughter wrapped around them like a warm blanket, but Mia's smile wavered as she caught sight of Rachel and her friends whispering conspiratorially. Sarah felt the tension rolling off Mia. "What's wrong, honey?" she asked, her voice soothing. "Do you think they're planning something?" Mia's eyes were wide, a mixture of hope and fear swirling in them. "What if they change their minds?" "Let us just see," Sarah replied, trying to keep her voice steady. She wanted to reassure Mia, but the unease in her gut mirrored her daughter's worries. As the swings creaked and the slide glistened, Mia's heart thudded in her chest. The other kids had been dismissive before, but something about this felt different. Would they go back to making fun of her? The friendly atmosphere was a thin veneer, and the whispering felt like jagged edges on a surface that could crack at any moment. Suddenly, Rachel's voice rose above the chatter. "Hey, Mia. How about a race to the slide? Loser has to give the winner their snack." Mia winced, unsure how to take it. She looked back at her mother, who nodded encouragingly. "It's okay, sweetheart. Just decide if you want to join." Mia took a deep breath. Racing? It could be a chance to show she wasn't too afraid. "Okay," she shouted, trying to project confidence. The group gathered, excitement bubbling among them as Tommy counted down. 3, 2, 1, go. Mia took off, her feet pounding against the ground, her heart racing with each stride. Everything seemed to fade the whispers, the past. She focused on the slide ahead, her goal clear. Yet, as she approached, a misplaced foot caught on uneven ground. Time slowed. She stumbled, her balance faltering as she fell. The laughter from the kids transformed into a collective gasp. But instead of landing hard, a soft thud met her ears. Mia opened her eyes to see Rachel kneeling beside her, worry etched on her face. "Are you okay?" she asked quickly, genuine concern spilling from her lips. Mia looked at her, startled by the unexpected kindness. "I think so," she replied, trying to catch her breath.
"Good.
You really scared me there." Rachel smiled brightly now, shoving her hair back and offering a hand. "Let us get you up." As Mia was helped to her feet, she felt the weight of the moment shift. The other kids stilled, their playful energy replaced with an unexpected camaraderie. "You ran fast," Tommy offered, his voice filled with admiration. "You almost beat Rachel." "Yeah, almost," Emily chimed in. "You can race again." For Mia, the embarrassment faded as warm laughter bubbled back up. It was turning into a beautiful day after all. They resumed their games, and an easy cheer filled the air as if their earlier doubts had never existed. Sarah smiled, filled with hope again. But then she noticed Rachel's stealing glances at Mia. What was she thinking about? A little thrill of anxiety pulled at Sarah's chest as she realized they weren't out of the woods yet. Later that day, when Mia tackled a game of tag with a renewed spirit, her heart leapt with joy. She ran faster, screaming with laughter as she tried to dodge the impending tag from Rachel. The sun started to dip lower in the sky, wrapping them all in a golden glow. "Hey, can I talk to you for a second?" Rachel said abruptly as they caught their breath. Mia looked at her, a mix of enthusiasm and apprehension. What did Rachel want? Would today's kindness hold? The moment stretched. Sarah's heart raced as she caught the exchange between them. This could change everything, or bring it all crumbling down. "Sure," Mia replied hesitantly, feeling the weight of possibility. But what did Rachel have to say? Would it lift them to new heights, or pull them back to the shadows? The playground buzzed with life around them, and Mia stood at the brink of a turning point, unsure where it would lead. Rachel took a deep breath, the golden light of the setting sun catching in her hair as she licked her lips nervously. Mia noticed the shift in Rachel's demeanor, the way her eyes darted away for a moment, almost like she was bracing herself. I just wanted to say, I'm really sorry about how we acted before, Rachel finally said, her voice softer than Mia expected. You know, with the teasing and everything. It wasn't cool, and I really regret it. Mia blinked, the sincerity hitting her like a warm wave. Just moments ago, it felt impossible that Rachel would ever apologize. Thank you, she managed, her heart pounding in her chest. I mean, it really hurt. Rachel nodded, her expression earnest. I get it. I guess I was trying to impress my friends. And I just didn't think. I'll do better, I promise. You ran so fast today. It was really cool to see. Mia felt a swell of emotion, a mix of relief and disbelief. Were they really having a moment of honesty? It felt liberating, as if a heavy weight had been lifted off her chest. The laughter and joy of the day wrapped around them, but now it felt thicker, richer, alive with possibilities. Thanks, I do like that, Mia replied, a tentative smile creeping onto her face. The tension she felt moments before unraveled slowly, like the threads of a tightly wound ball. You know, maybe we could hang out sometime? Rachel suggested, her cheeks flushing slightly. All of us. I mean, I think you'd be a fun addition to our group. Mia felt a spark of surprise and excitement dancing in her veins, but just as quickly, a flash of doubt crossed her mind. Could she truly trust Rachel after everything? A soft whispering caught her attention as the girls around them laughed and chased each other in a flurry of energy. Tommy caught Mia's gaze and shouted, "Hey, Mia.
Come on.
We're still playing." The inviting tone of their call ignited something inside her. With a quick nod to Rachel, Mia took a step back toward the thrumming joy of the playground. "All right, I'm coming," she yelled, her heart still racing but lighter. Rachel followed, as if drawn by a magnetic pull, and soon they were both sprinting across the grass. The collective laughter and energy swelled, mixing with the fading sunlight. For the first time that day, it felt like everything was truly falling into place. Mia couldn't ignore that strange, fluttering sensation in her stomach. It was anxiety mixed with a hint of hope. As they dove back into the game like nothing had happened, Mia caught Rachel's eye across the group, and a shy smile exchanged between them. Desiring connection felt less like a fear and more like an adventure, but right as the sun sank below the horizon, casting long shadows across the playground, Mia overheard a whispered comment from one of Rachel's friends. "Did you really mean it? Or were you just trying to look good?" The tone cut through the joy, a stark reminder of the past. Mia paused, her heart dropping as the moment of connection wavered. Was the risk of friendship worth it if doubt lingered so close? She glanced at Rachel, whose face transformed from joy to confusion in an instant. What would Rachel choose in front of her friends? Mia's heart raced as uncertainty loomed over their fragile bond. Would Rachel stand by her side, or would the past shamelessly tug them back into the shadows? The air thickened with anticipation as Mia caught her breath, standing at yet another crossroads. Mia felt the weight of that single whisper wrap around her like a cold fog. She wanted to believe Rachel. She wanted to think that the kindness they had just shared could withstand the prickly judgments of her friends. But that doubt nagged at her, like a cousin itching up her spine. Rachel laughed with her friends, but the joy felt rehearsed, strained. Mia could see the glint of uncertainty in Rachel's eyes as they darted toward Mia, then bounced back to her friends, as if seeking validation. The moment pulsed between them, thick with hesitation. Should Mia confront this, or slip away into the background, just like before? "Hey, Mia. Come play." Tommy called again, his laughter contagious and bright. Some girls joined in, urging her to be part of the fun, reminding her of the lightness that had marked their earlier play. But as Mia looked toward them, she couldn't shake the shadow creeping in. "Why don't you go?" Rachel suggested, her smile reaching but faltering, like a battery struggling to power a lamp in a storm. "I'll catch up in a second."
No.
Her heart screamed. This was her shot at something different. She couldn't let that comment take her down again. "Actually," Mia said, her voice steadying as she faced Rachel, "I think we need to have a real talk about this."
Like now.
A hush fell over their little gathering, the thrill of the playground settling as they sensed the change in the air. Rachel nodded slightly, her eyes wide with surprise. Okay, yeah, we can do that. We can't just pretend everything is fine when it's not, Mia continued, her chest tightening but feeling clear in her purpose. If you really mean it about wanting me in your group, I need to know I'm not just some pawn for you to show off. The laughter faded, leaving only the wind rustling through the trees behind them. Mia held her breath, watching the flicker of emotion dance across Rachel's face. I get it, Rachel murmured, her voice smaller now, stripped of bravado. You're right. I have to earn this. You have to know I can be different. Silence hung between them, thick yet tender, like the first blush of dawn creeping in. The tension shifted, spiraling into something almost comforting. Mia could see the shift as Rachel stepped back from her friends, vying for something more genuine. Why don't we go somewhere quiet? Like over by the swings? Rachel suggested, her voice barely above a whisper, but tinged with hope. Mia tilted her head, assessing this new version of Rachel. Was this truly a shift, or just a temporary break in the waves? Yeah, all right, she replied, gathering her courage as they moved away from the crowd. As they reached the empty swings, the world softened around them. Evening sounds faded, replaced by the rustle of leaves and the fading laughter of others. It felt like they had stolen a small moment just for themselves. I've been thinking, Rachel started, her voice trembling just slightly. I need to do better. To be better. I want to be someone you can trust. The sincerity prompted a smile from Mia, a spark igniting amid uncertainty. This was real. This could change everything. I want that too, Mia admitted softly, her heart racing at the possibilities. But I need you to understand what you put me through before. Rachel nodded, listening. I get it. And I can show you.
Just give me a chance.
Mia took a deep breath, the warmth of connection swirling, trembling on the edge of transformation. It felt vastly different from all the shallow ties she had known, but as Rachel met her gaze, a familiar face slipped into view behind them, someone from the past, someone who once wielded power over her doubts. Is everything okay here? The voice sliced through the evening warmth. Mia's heart plummeted. It was Sarah, the girl who had never missed an opportunity to stir trouble. The weight of old tensions crashed back into the moment. Could Rachel defend their emerging friendship against the past? Or would she crumble under old pressures? The air thickened, and Mia waited, breathless, as the night deepened around them. Sarah stood outside the school, her heart racing as she watched Mia step forward, brimming with newfound courage. They had fought so hard to find their footing in this community, and now here she was, ready to face their fears. Mia's voice still echoed in Sarah's mind, a mixture of anxiety and resolve that filled her with pride. Mom, I can handle this, Mia had whispered just moments ago, determination flaring in her eyes. The conversations held just outside the playground continued to swirl in Sarah's thoughts as she took a deep breath. The familiarity of yet another challenge loomed before them like storm clouds, yet today felt different. Today felt like destiny, a chance for both Mia and herself to soar beyond the shadows cast by heartbreak. Let her speak, Sarah repeated in her mind, hoping her daughter would embrace this moment for herself. The laughter and cheers of children dancing around the playground faded as Mia locked eyes with Rachel, ready to bridge the chasm that had formed between them. As Sarah stared intently at the girls, she saw a flicker of understanding spark in Mia's gaze. As Rachel's kindness glimmered anew, Mia took a leap of faith, opening her heart to the friendship they had begun weaving back together. But just as that warmth filled the air, it was violently interrupted by Sarah's arrival, a reminder of the past's weighty grip. Sarah, what are you doing here? Rachel demanded, her bright demeanor shifting toward anxiety. The moment turned tense. Sarah could see it from a distance. She wanted to rush in, to protect her daughter from the harsh words and emotions that might erupt. But she held back, trusting Mia would maintain her resolve. As Mia and Sarah exchanged wary glances, one thing remained clear. This was a pivotal moment. Would Mia allow the whispers of the past to drown out her bravery? Would Rachel stand with her, or would fear rewind time to a place of cruelty? "What's up, Mia?" Sarah smirked, her tone dripping with disdain. "I heard you played the victim at the playground." Mia squared her shoulders, standing tall, with newfound strength. "No one gets to belittle me like that anymore," she declared, her voice firm. A tremor of uncertainty danced in the air between them, but Sarah felt a shift, an inner resolve sparking like a fire late at night. "Let me show you what real courage looks like." She could almost hear Mia's fervent thoughts. "It's not right to make fun of someone just to feel better about yourself, Sarah," Rachel interjected, stepping alongside Mia, her demeanor shifting from passive to assertive. In that moment, everything changed. The tide shifted in their favor as the fear-riddled whispers transformed into a symphony of strength. The children lingering nearby fell silent, caught by the steel in Mia and Rachel's voices. Sarah's heart bloomed with pride, seeing the girls' faces locked in determination. They were strong, their truth shining a light upon their path forward. For the first time, Mia navigated the storm with clarity. She spoke, not just for herself, but for every child who had felt the sting of isolation. "It's time we realize our words matter," she declared, daring to challenge the darkness. The unexpected unity lit up the playground, reflecting hope rather than despair. As Sarah shifted her weight, a flicker of doubt registered in her eyes, but she quickly masked it with arrogance. "Whatever. You're just going to end up like everyone else, afraid of the real world," she sneered before turning away. Mia's confidence sparked brighter.
No.
"We're going to lift each other up. That's how real friends work." With that, a wave of heartfelt cheers washed through the air. Other kids stepped closer. The playfulness returned like a warm embrace. As Sarah watched, tears filled her eyes. The road had been long and painful, but now, in this moment of triumph, she realized they could weather any storm together.
"Mom."
Mia's soft voice called, breaking her reverie. "Can you come to play with us?" A radiant smile spread across Sarah's face, and she rushed to join them, wrapping her arms around Mia and Rachel. "Of course I can," she responded, her heart swelling with joy. That evening, they gathered around the dinner table, laughter and warmth enveloping them like a cozy blanket. The past remained a lesson, but the future was now woven with threads of resilience and hope. "I'm so proud of you both," Sarah said, her voice thick with emotion. "You showed extraordinary strength today. You both changed the game." As Lucas chimed in with excitement, Mia could feel the pride the whole family shared. They faced the world together, ready to take on whatever came next. "Together we'll overcome anything," Mia declared, beaming at her mother and brother. And together they would, one day at a time, weaving new stories as they embraced each opportunity for growth and connection. The dark clouds left behind transformed into the vibrant tapestry of their future. This was a moment of transformation, one that had the power to inspire everyone. Now, if you felt this story's amazing conclusion, you need to subscribe now for more heartwarming tales. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment below your thoughts and feelings about this incredible ending. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who also need to see this transformation. Your support makes the journey possible.